Celebrity foodie and Queer Eye star Antoni Porowski understands the connection between cuisine and cultural heritage. And now he's helping other hungry celebrities explore their gastronomic traditions in his new show, No Taste Like Home. Take a look.
Are you excited for this?
This is crazy.
I'll be delving into their family histories and tracking down culinary clues.
Getting a little hungry.
Oh, sorry you're getting hungry. I'm just like told my whole history of my family.
To unlock the past.
Everyone you see here is a relative of yours.
That's so cool.
It's really in the DNA to make these meals together.
It leaves a lot to discover, too, which is exciting in itself.
My parents had no idea.
Really?
It almost feels unreal to think that I descend from a king.
Please welcome Antoni Porowski.
What a vision to walk into. Oh my gosh. I know, it's stunning.
You were enough without the food. We love this. And we're so lucky because we were just with you like a week ago. You had the whole cast of Queer Eye here, and everyone just went nuts. Like, I've not really seen that with our audience in that way before. Why do you think the show resonates so much? And do you get these emotional reactions from people a lot?
Yes. I think,
And not just Sarah.
I mean, I think there was an emotional reaction when the show first came out, and it was a Trump administration, and now we're somehow back with the Trump administration, and it's sort of that similar reaction, I think. And even that aside, I mean, just the telling of human stories and people being vulnerable and like that connective tissue, I think that's always going to be universal, and that's always going to touch people, you know?
Antoni, I was at the premiere of your new show, No Taste Like Home, and the show is so special. Much like Queer Eye, I think it takes a very a unique heart to do what you're doing, because on its face, it's a mix of travel and ancestry and kind of bundled up and exploring family history through food. But I have to say, in addition to the food and just the kind of lineage of each of these people, there's so much emotion in this, and I think it takes someone like you to connect on that level. But how would you describe the show? Because it's like a dream job.
You're asking me to sell it.
Come on, do it.
I think so it all starts out, we have 6 wonderful guests, and it starts out with a dish that they had in childhood. It could be something that was at a family table during a special occasion. For James Marsden, it was chicken fried steak that his mom was just feeding to, like, as a single mom, to like take care of her kids. It could be truly anything. And then we do a deep dive. We go to their country of origin and we explore what was going on politically at the time, what was going on culturally. We break down the elements. Why is lamb used in shepherd's pie for Florence Pugh in northern England? And exploring kimbap in South Korea, which at first glance looks like sushi, but it isn't. And this beloved street food that's served everywhere is basically a symbol of Japanese occupation of South Korea for so long, and after they left, they were like, we like parts of it, but we're going to put pickled vegetables into it, and we're going to make it our own.
Kimchi.
Exactly, and you have that cross-culturally, and it's like, it's the dish, but it's so much more than that. It's these things that we take for granted, that we enjoy on a daily basis, that are emotional.
That tell a
Because they're around the
story.
table, that tell a
Yeah, I
story.
love this because it's almost like a mixture of finding your roots with a cooking show, and there's, I mean,
It's finding a root vegetable.
In many instances, yes. Yeah, a lot of parsnips.
You go on a journey, as you just mentioned, with 6 celebrities, and all of them are descendants from immigrants. And I know that this means a lot to you, particularly at this time. Why is this so relevant now?
Well, I think it's not only a reminder, and I think there are people in this country and in the world who need to be reminded. It's not just these 6 celebrities who are descendants of immigrants. Every single person who is sitting here is a descendant of immigrants.
Yep.
And I feel like I'm being preachy, but at the same time, it's like my special sauce, if you will. Part of the culinary term is like, we have to teach these things to people in sort of like palatable ways. And I try not to just be like so overt and kind of like drilling it as a reminder, but I think to do it with a beautiful medium and to do it in like a warm, loving way that I think is inspiring is the way to sort of normalize it. And I learned that on Queer Eye in the first episode. You know?
They may not like us, but they want our empanadas.
That's right.
That's right. They should.
You don't get to pick and choose.
You want Mexicans out, you don't know taco applause for you.
Now, let's talk about the premiere episode. Actress Florence Pugh had several revelations while tracing her food history in the UK. So tell us about what she found out and the food that you brought from the episode, because I believe it's this shepherd's pie.
Yes.
This is good.
So, okay,
Very good.
The sauce is excellent. So it started out with, we asked Florence, like we do for every person, as I mentioned, sort of like, what's that one dish? She's like, shepherd's pie. My nan, my mom, and me, we make it. We have our theories about how it's made. I'm like, that is how we have to start our episode. I want to show this generational sort of like the conflict and the drama that happens in a kitchen over debating over simple elements.
Well, you also took Issa on a food tour in Senegal. Tell us about what that was like, and what are we eating that's from that trip this year? Okay,
So this is mafe. So it's like a peanut stew with beef. I mean, the tie here is sort of it. We learned in Issa's ancestral line that she had an ancestor, a woman in a male-dominated fishing village of Saint-Louis, which was basically a colonized area of Senegal. She was one of the first women to actually import peanuts from Mali.
Wow.
So it's kind of those things that we get to learn. And I think, you know, in Senegal, I think one of the biggest takeaways, Issa kind of touched on this recurring element. My Polish friends and I, we always like to have conversations about generational trauma and like the things that our parents have passed on that they definitely did not deal with in therapy because they didn't go to it. But what I've learned in every single episode is that we have generational gifts.
Yes.
And it's why are we the way that we are? And to quote Issa, because she's a lot more eloquent than I am, like I'm standing on the shoulder of giants, and all of us are, right? Like all those beautiful qualities that we have within us are because of the sacrifices that our ancestors made.
Well, I love Awkwafina, and when we saw the clips of her not having been back to Korea since she was at 4 or 5, can you tell us about going there with her?
Totally. I mean, for
Korea.
For Awkwafina in South Korea, it was particularly emotional. She hadn't been back since her mother passed away when she was 4 years old from a rare illness. And so that was obviously like a very charged experience. And Nora, Awkwafina, mentioned that she felt strongly Chinese American from her paternal side, but she didn't feel that from her mom. And so she wanted to feel like a little more balanced, which so many children of immigrants and from like multi-ethnic communities, like you experience that. And for her, I mean, there was a scene, it wasn't the dish that we started out with, but we're having a dish at one point, which was this beautiful broth that was flavored with kelp and these pieces of beef. And she smelled it, and then she got emotional, and she was like, this is the smell I remember about my mom when I was 4. Wow. And then for us to learn from this woman who had a PhD in fermentation was basically like, so this, in mythology, Koreans would look at whales, give birth, be depleted of iron, and they would eat kelp to make themselves feel better. And then mothers would then make this soup to provide for their daughters after they gave birth. So to learn that this smell that she had, how charged and loaded it was, and that her mother was literally having it to try to heal herself and her daughter, like the power of that.
Yeah. Wow. The power of...
Okay,
Sorry,
Antoni.
I'm emotional because it's beautiful. You know what I mean? Like
That is.
I'm gonna have some potato.
Okay, but hold on, I can't let you go before we
don't
talk
you
about
worry.
what we are doing this Saturday. You and I are going to be in Miami. Cha-Cha, you and I are hosting
That's us.
the drag brunch as part of the South Beach Wine and Food Festival. All the proceeds go to charity. Tell me, what are you excited about on Saturday other than the 78-degree weather?
I was gonna say, selfishly, like it's been a little rough in New York. I'm excited for some vitamin D and some bike rides by the beach, but I think, you know, to bring it back, I think, you know, what the drag community is like really being dragged right now, for lack of a better word. And wherever there's an opportunity to practice visibility and show them that it's like we're not a threat, they're like literally here to entertain and bring joy, like, what the hell are you doing? I think I have a responsibility to do that, and I'm excited to do it with you.
I'm excited to do it with you.
And get your recommendations for Miami restaurants.
Yes, there's still tickets available. So be Wine and Food Festival.
Very good. I wish I were going. Thank you, Antoni.
Come.
Thank you.
No Taste Like Home with Antoni Porowski features February 23rd on National Geographic and streams next day on Disney Plus and Hulu.